Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. Today we are checking out this super sweet Thopter Polymorph deck for Modern. Recently took George Colby to 5th place at a Modern States event, so congrats to George Colby on his finish with the deck. Quick reminder, actually 2 quick reminders today. First off, as always, if you like this deck, like, subscribe, comment, do anything you can to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular will get made into videos the following week. Second reminder, there's been some confusion about the actual videos. Some people think I haven't even made one yet. I have made them. They go up Sunday nights under the Much Ado About Nothing heading. So the first one was Angel Moon for Modern. The next one will be coming out shortly, actually tomorrow, I think, by the time this video goes up. Anyway, enough of that stuff. Let's talk about Thopter Polymorph. First off, since Sword of the Meek was unbanned, everyone's been excited about the Wombo combo featuring Thopter Foundry. So essentially, Thopter Foundry, you can sack a non-token artifact to get a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature with flying and gain a life. Sword of the Meek, technically an equipment, gives a creature +2/+1, but the reason everyone's excited about it is whenever a 1/1 creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can return Sword of the Meek from the graveyard to the battlefield in equipping that creature. So the +1/+2 doesn't really matter. The basic idea is if you have both a Thopter Foundry and a Sword of the Meek, for every mana you have, you can sack Sword of the Meek to Thopter Foundry, get a 1/1, Sword of the Meek comes back from the graveyard to the battlefield, equipping the Thopter, but then you can immediately pay another mana, sack the Sword of the Meek, get another 1/1. So basically, it's not an infinite combo, but for every mana you have, you can make a 1/1 creature with flying and gain a life. So that's the main combo of the deck. You also have Thirst of Knowledge, which I put on this slide because it kind of holds it together. Thirst for Knowledge is kind of it's not a tutor, but it's a card that filters through your deck and lets you find your combo. But this deck decided to go a little bit deeper, and it's playing a second combo. So, since you're making these 1/1 Thopters, one of the problems is it still takes a while to close out the game. Maybe you make 4 Thopters and 5 Thopters. Illness in the ranks can still shut it down. There's still some things that can beat the Thopter Foundry Sword of the Meek combo. Well, this deck said, well, since we're not playing any creatures, any actual creatures, in our deck, why don't we play Polymorph and Emrakul? So Polymorph, you can sack a creature, or actually destroy target creature, and then the creature's controller reveals cards from their library until they hit a creature and put that creature into play. So basically, you polymorph a Thopter token, and then, since the only creatures in your deck are Emrakul, you get an Emrakul. So this is 4 mana, essentially win the game. I mean, it's pretty hard to lose once you have an Emrakul, but that's the idea. Polymorph a token, get the Emrakul. There's also a few other ways, targets for Polymorph. You got 4 Lingering Souls in a single Batterskull. So if you don't have a Thopter Foundry, you can Polymorph a Lingering Soul Spirit token, Polymorph a Batterskull. Plus, these are just good cards on their own, and they're helpful in the deck. Lingering Souls also triggers Sword of the Meek, gets it back from the graveyard because it is creating 1/1 tokens. Plus, you can Polymorph the Germ token or the Spirit token to get your Emrakul. Then we have some lands, which it might seem weird to talk about them so early in our deck tech, but they can also be polymorphed into an Emrakul. Blinkmoth Nexus is probably the best one because it only costs 1 to activate. So for 5 mana, you tap the Blinkmoth Nexus to activate itself, sack it to polymorph, get an Emrakul. Celestial Colonnade and Shambling Vent can do the same thing, but they're a little more expensive, so you can't really do it until the mid/late game with those. But they are backup plans. When everything else goes wrong, you can polymorph a creature land into an Emrakul. The rest of the deck is just removal. Thoughtseizes, Path to Exile, Zillianas, Mana Leaks. Nothing really special here. Kill creatures, disrupt the opponent, buy a bit of time till you can pull off your combo. Then there is Engineered Explosives plus Academy Ruins. So Engineered Explosives is kind of like a Ratchet Bomb, but it has Sunburst, so it gets a charge counter for each color of mana you spent on it. The deck's 3 colors, so pretty much 0, 1, 2, or 3 counters. Academy Ruins lets you keep getting back your Engineered Explosives, so pretty much every turn you can be wiping the board of a converted mana cost, a low converted mana cost. Otherwise, bunch of fetch lands, some fetchable shock lands, some basic lands that can be fetched, and then some duels. Sideboard-wise, Elishnorn and Iona are other polymorph targets, so if Emrakul's not getting the job done, maybe you're up against a monocolor deck or burn deck or something, you can polymorph into Iona, shut them down that way. Elishnorn can shut down a whole bunch of creatures, so against tokens or anything that's going wide with little creatures, Elishnorn is maybe even better than Emrakul. Supreme Verdicts in Zealous Persecutions, Wraths. Zealous Persecution is also kind of the backup plan. You can pump up all your tokens and beat down with Spirits and Thopters and kill your opponent that way. Timely Reinforcements against burn decks and aggro decks. And then some more removal, Dispels, Path to Exile, Disenchant, and then 2 Surgical Extractions for Graveyard Hate, since you really don't want to just exile the graveyard straight up, because you need the graveyard for the Thopter Foundry Sword of the Meat combo. Anyway, that is Thopter Polymorph for Modern. Deck looks super sweet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our Thopter Polymorph instant deck tech. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.